We're here again at Discount Water Softeners with a technical video showing you how to unload your water softener once it's received. Most all of our water softeners ship out with the resin already loaded inside the resin tank. That resin tank is usually inside of the brine tank. To get these two apart, it's best to just take and lay this down on its side and pull the resin tank out. It's going to be kind of heavy, so laying it down actually is not a problem, and it'll make life a lot easier when you're taking it out. We do suggest leaving the temporary shipping cap in place when doing so that you don't have any issues with resin coming out. Once you get the resin tank out of the brine tank, you can then unscrew the cap from the tank. Once you unscrew it, you'll find a riser tube that may or may not be centered in the tank. What you want to do is take your control head, in this case a Fleck 5600 SXT, get that riser tube centered in the upper screen as well as centered to the valve body insert. It may take a little wiggling to get it on there, but once you slide that down in there and it seats properly, you'll then be able to screw this down onto the tank. These are 2.5 inch opening. The threads are fairly wide. Once you get it into place, it will click on and slide all the way down where you need to get to the threads. So for now, we're going to leave that off, and I'll show you something else with the brine tank for assembly. In the box that's separate from the tanks, you're going to find a brine well, which houses the float assembly, which is your safety float. You'll also find a salt grid. The salt grid and the brine well do come together, and there's an opening for it so that when you slide it down into the brine tank, you will actually be able to slide the brine well down into that opening. So you'll do that on the square brine tanks in the corner where you have the hole pre-drilled for the connection to the tubing and also to the screw that holds this onto the side of the tank. So you want to make sure that you have that lined up when you do it on the square system. If you have a brine tank that is round, you just need to find where those two holes are. Finally, if you do order a system that is larger than a 64,000 grain, you're going to receive your system with the resin not in the tank. We do provide a funnel to add the resin into the tank. When you do unscrew that cap and put that funnel on top, you do want to make sure that you do have tape covering the opening for the riser tube. If you don't have tape over that, you're going to get resin into the riser tube, and it will then end up in your control head and then out into the house. So it's really critical that you put tape over this, put the funnel in, add the resin, take the funnel out, remove the tape, then you can screw your control head down. That is typically only on systems larger than 64,000. So 80, 96, 110, 120,000 grain systems. So in most cases, systems for regular homes don't exceed 64, but in some cases they do. So one last thing, your connection to your brine tank. On your Fleck 5600, you have a brass connection where your brine tube connects to. There are a small parts bag, usually in with the manual, that connect to the control head on this valve body. The brass nut, the compression ring, and then the tube insert along with a screen insert onto the tubing as shown here. You can see the tube insert and the direction that that compression ring goes in, and then the brass nut get inserted in here, bottom out, and then screwed down tight. If that is done properly, you should be able to draw brine just fine. On the other end, there is no tube insert, but you do need to connect the other end of this tube to your float assembly that will be inside of the brine well that we just talked about on the installation to the brine tank. So if you have further questions, you can always email us at sales@discountwatersofteners, and someone will be happy to help. Thanks so much.